Alright, so here we are back with league racing for SRL on F1 2018 here for round 6 in Melbourne. You can see the championship standings here. Lewis Marshall at the top of the championship tally with 83 points, with Francis McGinn trailing him by just 1 point on 82, and us in third position, 23 points behind Lewis Marshall at the top of the championship. So here we are then for round 6 in Melbourne. Coming off the previous round in Yes Marina. If you haven't seen it already, I'm going to spoil the results now. We had a really difficult race, probably one of my worst league races I've ever done. Really suffered with tire overheating problems, and in the end, we didn't even see the checkered flag. And so we came away from round 6 with 0 points, which is really going to hurt us in the championship. That's why we are 23 points behind. So hopefully we can bounce back from that here in Australia. A track which I really like. I definitely like this track a lot more than Yes Marina, but for some reason the tire wear and especially the tire temperatures in Yes Marina were just really bad. And you can see here in qualifying quite a lot of traffic. Really had to slow up to try and get some free space. But anyway, we are starting our first flying lap of the session right now. Apologies for the video quality, but it's a little bit low because I had to download my live stream. Anyway, coming into turn 1 then, 5th gear, really easy to cut the corner there, but we actually managed to get through it quite well. So now open up the ERS for this back straight. ERS now down into high to save a little bit of the battery to utilize that at the end of the lap on the straight. Very much a traction zone here. We missed the apex a little bit there into turn 4. But we did manage to carry the corner speed, so it's probably not going to cost us that much time. Yellow flags, there's a car on the left there. We just about managed to avoid it. So that could have ended badly if we would have hit that car. It was basically stricken in the middle of the track. Anyway, Jan Holm sets the fastest lap with a 23.8. That's definitely going to change soon, but of course this is the start of the session. There we go, Fons van Heugden now with a 21.7. That's a lot quicker. We are now coming up to the second sector, 48.4. That's pretty okay. We go 4/10 under the time of Fons van Heugden in the second sector. Almost losing the back end there on the exit of the very quick chicane. Now into the final sector. Areas back into high mix again. We missed the apex a little bit there once again into that corner. Now this flat out almost right-hander into this very slow and technical final bit of the circuit. Very difficult to put the power in here. Anyway, coming out of the final corner, ERS back into hot lap. We actually ran out of ERS just before the line, so that's definitely going to cost us a little bit. Coming up to the line now, fast lap 20.8, which is provisionally good enough for the fastest lap. Pretty good banker lap there, so you can see now with 11 minutes to go, Francis is actually gone a lot quicker with a 20.07 in front of us. And as we now start our second flying lap, also Badkelder has managed to get past us. Now to turn 1 again, we push too hard. We cancel our lap time and also spin, after the exit of turn 2. So yeah, just biting off a little bit more than what I could chew there. And we have thrown away this second run. So we will have one more shot at it, because of course with this short qualifying format, you don't have that much time, and also only 3 sets of tires. So here we go then, 23 seconds remaining as we cross the line for our very last lap of the session. Coming into turn 1 then, back down into 5th gear. We could have maybe attacked the curb a little bit more. You can see I actually lose a couple hundreds in the delta there. We've fallen back into P5 now, so we really have to improve as also Sander Druid has got past us into the happen and 3rd gear. ERS back into mapping 3. Again, missing the apex a little bit there into turn 4. I should have turned in a little bit earlier. Now into turn 5, you don't want to hit the curb there on the inside. We actually gain a little bit of time there, and we are now green in the sector time, 28 thousandths of a second faster than our first lap of the session. So let's see what we can do in the remaining 2 sectors of this lap. Yellow flags once again, 4th gear there, hitting the curb pretty well there, as there are still yellow flags. There's a car there, it's Dion Stahl, who was luckily out of the way. So we're now coming to the very quick left right chicane, 6th gear, really trying to carry as much speed as possible through that corner. This time a little bit more stable on the exit as well. We gain almost 2 tenths as we're now coming into the final sector, back down into 4th gear, hitting the apex nicely there as well. Almost a little bit too wide onto the curbs, now into this right-hander and into the penultimate corner, 2nd gear now, trying to put the power down as early as possible without losing the back end. Pretty good exit there out of the final corner. Hot lap in the ERS. We unfortunately run out of ERS just before the line once again, but we improved to P3 with a 20.4, 3/10 slower than Francis McGinn. And that is us on the second row of the grid for round 6 here in Melbourne. So only 3 tenths behind Francis McGinn. That's a pretty decent lap. And, Bart Cadell in second place, it's probably the best I could have done. I think the only real mistake I made was turn 4. Ignore that Snapchat notification. I think I missed the apex slightly into turn 4, but I don't think I could have really gained 2 or 3 tenths. So anyway, the race, as you can see, is going to be a one-stop from the ultra softs to the softs. And so yeah, here we go then for round 6 of the season. 5 red lights are on, starting in 3rd position, and we are away for 29 laps here at the Albert Park circuit. Bart Cadell really getting off to a good start there. He's already passed Francis if you go into turn 1. Also Jesper Lampinen there, dividing Francis back to 3rd place. We've fallen back into P4. That was a great start from Bart Cadell. We already pick up our first track extent warning there on the exit of turn 2, which is a little bit unnecessary. It didn't gain time at all there. But anyway, P4 then after the start. Now we have 2.5 laps extra of fuel, so I can burn quite a lot during this race. And of course, we will be trying, like we also tried in Yas Marina, to just stick with the pace of the leaders. Hopefully this time it won't wear out and overheat the tires. So yeah, Bart Cadell then splitting the 2 false Indias of Vasilios Belichotis, and no, that's actually a lie. Francis actually goes wide there into turn 8. It's actually Jesper Lampinen in second place. I forgot about that in the Williams. So it must be Bart Cadell leading with Jesper Lampinen in second. I'm in third. Sandro Dulis is in fourth. And the 2 false Indias of Francis and Vasilios are nowhere to be seen after that mistake from Francis. So yeah, we are now back into a podium position. And actually, I forgot to mention as well, Lewis Marshall, who is second in the championship, just 1 point behind Francis McGinn. He is actually being banned from SRL for 12 months after an incident in Abu Dhabi. So that is massive for the championship, of course. And unfortunately, he won't be participating for any of the races in this season. By the way, here you can see a replay from the start. I was unaware of this behind me, but there was actually a massive crash. Here we can see the onboard from Sam van Elven. You can see there he gets caught up with Ivan Brito there in the Williams. And luckily still manages to keep his car relatively intact. He did pick up some damage, but he didn't DNF from the sessions. Here we can see it from Irfan Daniel. He is squeezing to the wall a little bit there, and unfortunately broke his left tire. Here we can see Dion Stahl coming through the very quick left right chicane. You can see there just how tricky it is on the exit, and he loses his car as well. We are now down to 12 runners. We started with 17, so 5 people have already DNF'd in 7 laps time. So I'm really surprised it hasn't brought out a virtual or a full course caution, really. Not even a virtual safety car. So we're going to continue on with still Jesper Lampinen in front and Vasilios Belichotis behind. I was pretty much on the same pace. Jesper pulled away from me a little bit, but I was pulling away a little bit from Vasilios. But as you can see there on the bottom, I don't know if you picked up on it, but Francis actually retired. You can see here how it happened. He crashes out of the race on lap 7. And that is crucial, once again, for the championship, because he is not going to score any points in this race. Here we can see he's on board. As I get a messenger notification, I really should turn off my phone. Anyway, he is getting past Jan Holm, but he then loses the backhand as he comes through turn 7 into the wall, makes a little bit of contact with the Sauber of Jan Holm as well. And that is massive for the championship. Lewis Marshall and Francis McGinn are both not going to score any points in this race, while Lewis Marshall isn't for the rest of the season. So that is just going to help us so much in the championship, as Vasilios Belichotis is now behind us. He is overtaking us on the inside of turn 13 now, and I decided not to fight him because he is on a different strategy to us. I'm going to pit this lap, so there is not really a point in trying to defend this position. So we let Vasilios take P2 there. We were in second because somebody has already made his stop, and Vasilios, I think, started on the soft tires. I started on the ultras. We rejoined the track in P5 on lap 10 behind Jesper Lampinen, who is, I think he pitted the lap earlier than I did, so that's why I was in second place briefly. Onto lap 10 then, into the very quick left right chicane. Once again, you can see there Jesper, oh no, it was actually Jorge Carrera in a Mercedes. He loses his car in front of us. We just managed to avoid him, and that now brings out a virtual safety car. Didn't really affect anything though, nobody pitted or anything like that, so We continue on lap 12. You can see Samuel Brandt there with a bit of a mistake that now gives us P4. And onto the start of lap 14 now. Vasilis Belichotis made his pit stop, and he is going onto the super soft tires. So he is definitely going to be faster than I am probably in the second phase of this race. So we are up into P3 once again now with only 10 runners left. So 7 people have DNF from this race. It really surprised me there wasn't a full virtual safety car, to be honest. Only one VSC. That's very surprising considering all the crashes that happened during this race. There are still debris on the track everywhere. So yeah, anyway, we are now on to lap 15. Again, Vasilis behind us, almost deja vu as he goes up the inside into turn 13. Once again, I decided not to fight it because he is just so much quicker than I am on these fresher and softer super soft tires. So I just decided to let him have the inside into turn 13, and I had the DRS for one lap, but he just pulled away from me after that. But now, on to lap 27, you can see I just stood in a little bit too early and I pick up a 3-second time penalty. I actually closed the gap a little bit again to Vasilios, who seems to be struggling with tire wear a little bit. I guess his super soft tires are starting to wear out a little bit, so that now makes my soft tires a little bit faster. You can see the gap currently is 4.9 seconds with 2 laps to go. And I actually thought that Vasilios might have had a 6-second penalty. I only had a 3 seconds, so I was just pushing as hard as I could. You can see that onto the final lap. The gap is 3.5 seconds. So I was really pushing as hard as I could in this final lap because I was just hoping that Vasilios would have one more penalty than I have. Because I knew that he had at least 3. But, you never know. He may pick up one on the final lap or something like that. So I was just pushing at this point. You can see there, I think there was a car on the left, actually. The gap is now back to 2.9 seconds. I actually do a personal best first sector there. As we now come into turn 8, 4th gear, then 3rd. I actually should have done it third. I shouldn't have done it. That made me lose the backhand. We hit the wall there. Thankfully, don't damage the car somehow. But that was definitely, I was definitely overdriving the car a little bit there. Now into the chicane, still 3 seconds. We definitely lost a couple of tenths there. And again, losing the backhand on the exit. Taking quite a few risks, to be honest, on this final lap. Anyway, coming into the final sector then, 4th gear. We have pulled away from Sando by 11 seconds, so he isn't going to be a threat for us. Bart Kadada wins the race here in Australia, the reigning SRL champion. We just tried to close the gap again, pushing a little bit too hard into the penultimate corner. Vasilios crosses the line in 3rd place. We get P4 on track, but with the time penalties, we actually don't move up any positions. So it's going to be P4 here for the Australian Grand Prix and SRL. I was pretty disappointed with that penalty because, as you may remember, I had that warning when I track extended turn 2 on the first lap, which I didn't really gain anything from. I felt like that was a bit of an unnecessary track extend. So if I wouldn't have had that penalty, I would have had a podium. So, yeah, a little bit disappointing there that I could have avoided picking up a penalty, especially also on lap 27 when I turned in too early for the chicane, turn 11. So, yeah, we lost a couple points there. But anyway, still 4th place with Vasilios and, with Lewis Marshall and Francis McGinn not scoring any points. That's going to close the gap in the championship to 10 points to both Francis and Lewis. So that is, very different to how the championship looked after the race in Abu Dhabi when I DNF'd and Lewis Marshall and Francis McGinn scored a lot of points. I can't remember exactly where they finished. But anyway, we have closed the gap back down to under 10 points. And next round is going to be in Singapore at the Marina Bay Street Circuit. So, yeah, that's been it for this video. Apologies for the video quality and the lack of sound. But I can't access my footage that I have on my PC at the moment. So, I'm having to make the videos based on the footage that I live streamed. So that's the reason for it. So apologies for that. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video nonetheless. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.